question I didn't mean until we were done with the film, really.
A year later, almost.
Yeah.
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 Which is wild.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of his stuff, like maybe like 2 scenes worth to like pick from, but in terms of like little nuances and stuff. But I feel like it was really fun working with Isabela. It was mostly just us because we were in different timelines. Like she's just so cool. Like I feel like we bonded right away and like became friends right away, and that really helped influence like our characters' relationship and our chemistry and all that.
Makes it a lot easier when you like the person you're working with, you know, you can get along with them.
Yeah.
Feel comfortable and safe, and especially with these kind of topics and just like the intense scenes that you see and that we had to, you know, be a part of. It's, if you don't feel like safe with the person you're working with, it can make it really difficult. So thankfully that was not a problem. As much as we are 2 characters that are supporting each other through really tough family situations, I think it's also really important to remind the audience and the readers that this is like a really pure love. And like that's where that really comes from, and that's why it stands the test of time to them, these 2, because as much as it is like, you know, providing shelter for each other from these tough dynamics, it just, I think it draws audiences in so much more when you do see like a pure, sweet high school love that like is just so new, and they're just like taking their steps for the first time into this kind of romance, and I think that's what makes it super interesting and beautiful, you know?
Yeah, it also just started with each other listening to each other, and such a simple gesture of like kindness. And I think that's something that everyone can kind of take into their lives, and you never know what someone else is going through, and that was huge for that relationship.
Something that I think is really beautiful about the Lily and Atlas relationship, and this goes back to Colleen's source material, is that normally the male role, especially this male role in the film, is the guy who's there to save her. So if there's another guy who's maybe not as good for her, this guy comes in and saves her. And really in this movie, she saves him. He's a boy who she extends life to, who she extends love to, and not in a romantic way, just in a human way. And that turns romantic, but really it's her who sees the value in this person who's been cast aside, and it's her who saves his life. And I think that, you know, and then in her adult life, she turns to him not to save her, but she turns to him because he's somebody who's home and who knows who she is and is very grounding. And in that moment, he could step in and he could try to save her or overstep or want something of her when everybody else wants something of her. But instead, he just reminds her of who she is and reminds her of her own strength and her own value, not his strength, not his ability to care for her or to take over for her, but to say, like, know who you are. And I think that that's a really important character to see on screen, and it's something that I've seen from both of these men in real life. It's something that I've seen them do, you know, in their own lives and with us as actors. Like they really, they really like show up and in their own power and in their own skin, just like uplift us to our highest selves.
Yeah, I think, it's very well put. I think this film does a really beautiful thing in really portraying what these relationship dynamics are actually like. And I think oftentimes, to Blake's point, if you were to see this story or something similar to this, it's like the idealistic version of like this guy's gonna swoop in and like, oh, I got it, and it's like this whole thing, but that actually doesn't happen very often. And you see, like, a love is often portrayed in films as like what songs are written about and it's like this like codependent, I need you, I die without you sort of love, which isn't really the love you want. It's fun, but that's not actual, like, unconditional love. And the love that you see Lily and Atlas have for one another is truly unconditional love. He's not wanting anything from her but for her to feel better about herself. That's all he wants for her. And he doesn't want anything in return. And that is unconditional love. And that's what's so beautiful about their relationship, and what's so beautiful about Colleen's book. Because you don't really see that much in the romance. I don't even like calling it romance, but in the romance space, you don't really see that.
Well, in film, often you normally see the man coming in and swooping in and saving the woman, but like in real life, when I look at the relationships that I've witnessed through friends, family, loved ones.
Yeah.
It's not the men who are saving the women, it's the women who are coming in and nurturing and saving, and
100%, yeah.
and they are the anchor, they are the knight in shining armors.
So like, how many times have you heard a woman be like, man, he just made me such a better woman? It's like never, like, it's always a guy, it's like, man, she saved my life. She made me such a better man. I'm so much less of like a, since she came into my life. But very rarely do you hear the other flip side, like.
But yet you don't see it on screen
Never
often.
see it.
But
It's
I think
always-
that's why like men and women see this movie. They're not just like, oh, this is an idealized movie for women to see, but like men see this and they're like, yes, I felt that. I've felt that love, whether it be maternal love, romantic love, platonic love. I have felt that, and I think that like that's why this movie resonates with people of all ages and genders, because it really is just human and
like,
honest.
The feminine is so strong in it. It's like it's not just a movie for women, but the way just like the feminine is portrayed in the movie. Like Lily's so strong, even at her weakest, her perceived weakest, she's so strong, and you see it from childhood, her strength. And even though Alice is strong, you can totally, and he knows how he got to where he is, and he credits her for it. And I just think it's profoundly beautiful and very relatable, even as a man,
I think that I'm just excited for fans of the book to just finally see the movie. This has been years and years in the making, and there's been a lot of speculation and chatter about the adaptation and what's happening and why it's taken so long. And I'm just excited that they're now going to get to see what we've been working on for 5 years, and the love and the care and the respect that we have for the source material and for them. Because if it were not for them, we wouldn't be here in a position to release this film. So this is a love letter to them at the end of the day. Directing is a very complicated job. You have to hold the entire vision of the movie in your head and then find ways to communicate it and get everybody on the same page. And then acting is its own animal. Acting, especially with a role like Ryle, with complex, deeply painful, disturbed man, it's very hard. And there were many times, throughout the course of the movie where it was challenging. And, as a director, it's my job to navigate all the personalities and to figure out how to, get us all in the same direction. And yet those challenges are also beautiful. And we work together to create this beautiful piece of art, and I'm proud of it. And I believe that the cast is proud of it, and Colleen's proud of it, and I hope at the end of the day that the fans will be proud of it, because this is really all about giving the fans what I believe they deserve. This really is an incredible cast. This story doesn't have very many characters, so when you actually think about the 2 hours of the film, there's only a handful of characters that you get to meet in the movie. So it's really a character piece. And so casting this film was so important to cast actors who just had a broad range and could bring the depth that each of these characters needed. So, starting with Blake Lively, who is a force in this movie, biased as the filmmaker. I just believe it's a career-defining performance. I don't think she's ever been better. She brings so much depth and personality and humor to Lily, and I just think audiences are going to fall in love with her. Brandon, who plays Atlas, was just incredible. He's got so much depth and soul, and I'm excited for audiences to meet him. He's a gigantic star. Jenny Slate and Hasan Minhaj, both of them are just lights. When we were casting, I really wanted to find comedians to play these roles, but not because I wanted them to be like slapstick or be jokey. I just thought that they could lighten the film in these very particular areas. And the film's designed in a way where you have a lot of pressure and buildup, and then you have to release that tension, and you do that through laughter. The more serious something is, the better the payoff is if you can find the right joke or find the right person that can inject that lightness into the movie. And Jenny and Hasan are just brilliant in it. And Jenny is she brings so much more than just comedy. She's a hell of an actress, and I'm really excited for people to see her in a role like this. And then you have these young newcomers, you know, Isabela and Alex. Isabela's was her first movie, and we searched and looked for thousands and thousands of young women before we found her. And aside from resembling Blake, she found a way to match her mannerisms, and she has so much depth and charm and charisma. And there are times where you honestly feel like you're watching a young Blake Lively, and it allows you to be transported back into this era, this youthfulness that just wouldn't have worked if we were trying to do it with Blake herself. And she's so good, and she's got such a huge career ahead of her, and I'm just so honored that I got to be a part of her first film. And then Alex, who played young Atlas, same. Just you look into his eyes, and he's got so much depth, and you can feel his sincerity and his pain and his love, and he says so much without saying anything. Just this cast was just incredible, and I was just grateful to be able to work alongside them and to direct them.
We had so much.
It was a
fun
blast.
together.
It was a joy. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was aware of the book. Yeah. He always beats me because your wife read it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas I heard about it from my niece, which I think is cool, but also, you know, she's not an adult. I have adult friends as well.
Yeah.
It feels like when I say that, it sounds like I'm the aunt that's like, so what's hip?
Yeah.
You know, the more I've said, oh, my niece, I'm like, oh, I sound like one of
You're
these
not-
people that's like, do I have a fanny pack or not? Like, what are we
You're not
doing?
Amy Poehler's character in Mean
Right, that's what I'm
Girls. You are
thinking about. Like, I'm like, am I trying to
No,
be like
Jenny is
cool
not.
mom? But yeah, I don't think I'm in danger of that. So kind and fun and like easy to be around and ask a lot of questions that I felt very, very comfortable right away. And yeah, I think we were both on the same page about the way that our characters should have their brand of flirting or their style of flirting.
Yeah, the choices Jenny was making were really great, and that was really cool. To the first day we met, and to be like, I think we should be like this, and I think as a couple, Allysa and Marshall there was like a realness and depth, and also an aspirational quality to like the way they are with each other. Even when we were like riffing and zinging each other, it was like really, the subtext of it was like cute and loving, and there wasn't resentment to it, which I thought is kind of like a refreshing way to show a couple.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure there wasn't like my ball and chain, like,
Totally.
my husband.
Take
he's
my
not
wife.
gonna do
Yeah,
anything, you know, like, don't count on him to do the laundry, or like these things I feel like just
Hacky tropes.
tired and it's we really wanted to bring something aspirational. Like we want to look at this couple and be like, they really are so glad they found each other, but they're also gonna be real, like in the scene in the restaurant.
Yeah.
God, you were making me laugh so hard that day because you would continue to talk about like finance stuff, and
right.
I was like, how do you even know
Right.
these terms?
Oh yeah. So I have so many guy friends that are like going through this midlife crisis where it's a cry for help, and I know that guy intimately well. Yeah.
Yeah, and Allysa kind of like calls him out on it.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, what did I do like to make the chef walk away or whatever? And she's like, why don't you just keep saying this, whatever the phrase was on the day, I don't even remember it.
Shareholder value.
Yeah, totally. Like whatever. They're close enough that they will tease, but they would never like degrade or disrespect each other for a laugh.
The cast is stacked.
Yeah.
Like, everybody is really talented. That's what's so cool. Yeah. And I mean, Jenny Slate's a star. It was just so cool. I remember telling you this to you on set. I was like, this is incredible. She's a tour de force.
I feel like everybody is at the top of their game and can bring their thing to this incredibly specific story. Like there's a way in which the character of Marshall is kind of like a guy that's around, but like and that it's like instead like Hasan brought like such romance, such charm, like a sense of like, yes, I've had success, but my eyes are like just still trained on my own self-respect and like my connection to my wife, and you would feel that, and it was really, really sweet to to play with that and like play as a partner to that. There's not another movie like It Ends With Us.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, like it's been quite a while, first of all, since we've all been like, let's go to the movies. It's just like kind of taken a while to get that activity back into our weekends, into like how we're going to spend our very precious extra time. But also, you know, the movie has immense power. It's a powerful story.
Yeah.
But it's also a story of like the heart. It's a story, as you've been saying, of perseverance, and it feels like a close to the heart personal story that's been made into sort of like a big, gorgeous painting, but like just for you.
Overwhelming in the best sense of the word. You know, like I just never imagined that all of this would come to life and in such a big way. Like the amount of effort, you could see from the set even, that has been put into making this film and marketing it has been phenomenal. It feels amazing. I think Blake did such a wonderful job bringing that character to life. I can't imagine anyone else in that role now. If I ever read the book again, I don't know that I will, but if I ever do, I would only imagine her. I think my hometown screening that we got to do last week, it was just so wonderful seeing all the support and, you know, seeing best friends from high school there to my, you know, my great aunts were there. So it was just a huge array of people that have meant something to me in my life. And at the end of the night, my mom texted me saying it was the best day of her life. So yeah, it was great. Favorite moment in the movie, well, I mean, I would have to include Alice, I think. But I think the very end, I don't want to give anything away, but they changed it up slightly at the end. And I absolutely love the last sentence of this film. And it just leaves me with such a great feeling. And then that Louis Capaldi song hits. It's just, I could watch that ending over and over. If we were going by the books, I think Alice is my favorite character, yes. But, you know, Lily is a very close second. It's almost a tie. It never influences me while I'm writing, the thought of it maybe becoming a movie. Like, obviously, I think every author kind of hopes it'll happen. But to me, they're very separate. And so even imagining the characters as actors, I have such a hard time doing that. And I love watching when fans post their cast, ideal cast, you know, and I'm always shocked, like, oh, that's who you see? Because I don't do a lot of description. When I sign books at book signings, everyone puts their name on a sticky note for me to write in the book. And so, you know, you're going through a few hundred people at a time. And so every time a name stands out that I haven't used yet, I'll steal the sticky note out of their book. And so I have a collection of sticky notes of readers' names. So I steal a lot of my names from readers. Favorites? I think Ledger is one of my favorite names, and that was in reminders of him. Yesterday, when I was finished with my day, I got back to my room and logged on to Facebook, and everyone like in the cohort community had changed their profile pic to a pic with me, and they're all just being so supportive, and they're all so excited for me I could cry. Yeah, they're just the best. It's been fun because I'm like, oh, wow, I forgot about that. You know, I've seen all these pictures and all these places I got to visit. It's been fun to look back on.
Colleen's amazing, genuinely. Not only is she a brilliant writer, but she's just one of the kindest, most down-to-earth, sort of easy to be with people. It's really, I mean, it's just been a joy. I can't say enough good things about her. Part of why it was so exciting when we heard that Blake was interested was because it felt like, look, the script was already great. We were already excited about Justin's vision, and obviously the book had this incredible life, but Blake just brings a whole other level of creativity, not just in her performance. I mean, we knew that then we would have this sort of beautiful, nuanced, humorous side of Lily Bloom, but also I personally was so excited because I knew what we would get to do with the costumes and the production design and just sort of having her aesthetic and creative eye across the movie. And she was a producer on the film as well. Was so fun to collaborate with her. And she's so brilliant, honestly, that I think we got a lot of bang for our buck with Blake as Lily, and as a producer, that's always really fun for me because, again, as someone who's supporting the filmmaker and the actors, to just get that much talent coming into the mix, it's exciting, honestly. Both Jenny and Hasan, I adore. I had worked with Hasan briefly on No Hard Feelings. He had a cameo role. And so Justin knew actually with both of them, even really before I came on, they were like the first choices. We got them both, which is such a dream. But the idea was really to have two actors who are brilliant actors, but also comedians, frankly, to bring some much needed levity to this movie. And their chemistry between each other was so great. Hasan and Justin's chemistry was amazing. And then Jenny and Blake developed this beautiful on-screen friendship, which was mirrored partially off-screen. But, the final scene between Jenny and Blake, it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I remember when we shot it, and we shot it so quickly. And they both just nailed it in like a 90-second take. It was like, okay, and we're done. It was so, and again, it's a testament to how talented they both are. But again, they're both these like beautiful, sensitive, and really funny women. And that's always fun for me as a woman on set to get to have actresses like that around, because it makes my job more fun. I felt a ton of pressure to honor the fans. I think we all did. And I think it's really easy for it to feel daunting and overwhelming. But ultimately you have to do the work, and there's only so many hours in the day. So you have to shut it off at a certain point, even though I will say it came up in almost every creative conversation we had. It was, what do we want to do with X, Y, or Z immediately? What will the fans think? And so it factored into everything, and that just got comfortable at a certain point. And I think ultimately, because everyone's intentions were coming from such a good place of really wanting to honor these fans that love it so much, we just believed we were doing our best and kind of hoped it would all work out. I'm partial to the in-theater cinematic experience myself, but I will say one of the things that I am sad as an audience member we don't get as much are movies that really make us feel. And what I love about this movie is there is no lack of feelings, on both extremes. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to feel longing and desire and upset. And to me, I want to go escape into a movie theater and sit in the dark for 2 hours with a bunch of strangers. There's some communal aspect to that experience that I think is profound and makes the work even stronger. So I would say if you're looking to be moved and frankly have a good time, go see the movie in theaters. I hope this film starts conversations about women feeling and being empowered to make changes and choices in their lives. I hope, like I said, that the film moves people, and if it can move women to action in their own lives, I mean, that would be incredible.